Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the inner sanctum.
Crime drama this hour, Staats Cotsworth, in a program that you helped us acquire through our Buy Me a Copy program, Casey Crime Photographer. This program goes back to March 11th, 1948, and it's simply entitled Fog.
The Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you Crime Photographer.
Ethelbert, how did you ever get that name?
I don't know. There was some argument just before my christening.
So they picked Ethelbert right out of a hat, huh?
No, my aunt was reading some novel. She found that name in it.
Well, it's a good enough name. Well, they might have given you a more famous name.
Did I hear somebody start it?
Start what?
Start to talk about famous names.
Oh, well, what's your idea of a famous name?
That's easy, Casey. Everyone knows Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation of Lancaster, Ohio, and its more than 10,000 employees bring you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Our adventure for tonight, Fog. Late afternoon, the Blue Note Cafe, and Ethelbert, the head bartender, completes preparations for the crowd of cocktail sippers that will soon come drifting in.
Walter, bring up some more
Lemons!
Yeah. Oh, hello, Casey.
Hi, Ethelbert. Hi.
You just come in off a job?
Yeah.
Oh, where's Miss Williams?
At the office. She'll be here in a few minutes. Oh, this has been one of those dull, monotonous days. I'm getting pep today.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way myself. My sister Edna says I ought to take vitamins.
Hello, Ethelbert.
Oh, hello, Miss Williams.
Oh, Casey, wait till you hear what's just happened.
I know. Somebody's fed you a vitamin.
Huh?
What are you all pepped up about, Annie?
Oh, I just received an anonymous letter.
Anonymous letter, huh?
Who from? Oh, one of them without any name signed to it.
Yes.
Who from? He said. Well, what's exciting about that?
It contains a tip, a news tip, and it sounds like a big one. Here, take a look.
Well, what's it say?
Read it to him, Casey, but keep it under your hat, Ethelbert.
Oh, you know me, Miss Williams.
It's typewritten on plain stationery.
Read it.
Says here, Dear Miss Williams, an important news story may break at the Pellhaven estate of Willis J. Baldwin tomorrow. As your society editor will know, a ball is to be held there late in the evening at which Mrs. Baldwin will wear her famous diamond necklace. If you want an exclusive front-page story, arrive around 6 p.m., and say nothing to the police, the Baldwins, or anybody about this letter.
We ain't nobody.
Which the writer, who must be anonymous, urges you to destroy.
Well, isn't that something?
It's something, all right, but what?
Casey, it's a tip that somebody's going to try to steal those diamonds.
That's the way it sounds to me.
To show this to City Desk, Annie?
Yeah, right after I read it. Burks assigned us to follow it up.
Well, we covered together.
I read about Mrs. Baldwin's diamond necklace, Casey. It's said to be worth over $1 million.
Yeah.
Casey, who do you suppose sent this letter?
Well, how should I know? What I'm wondering about, Annie, is why was it sent to you? This kind of a tip is seldom sent to a gal reporter.
I never had one just like it before.
We're to be at the Baldwin's 50-room suburban cottage at 6 tomorrow night.
How are we going to crash into their place at dinner time?
Look, I'll tell you what. I'll phone Mrs. Baldwin and give her a yarn of some kind.
Oh, you know her?
Well, I've taken pictures of her, news pictures. Have you ever met the Baldwins or anybody who's intimate with them, Annie?
Oh, I've interviewed the Count de la Fere.
Who's the Count de la Fere?
One of those ornamental slickers with a foreign title. Who gets around the high cost of living by being a perpetual house guest of the oh-so-rich and idle. I think he's staying with the Baldwins now.
Yeah, well, Willis J. Baldwin's supposed to be a tough, shrewd guy. He's not the type who puts up with lounge lizards.
Well, Count Raymond de la Fere may be Mrs. Baldwin's special friend.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll go over to the phone booth, put in a call for Mrs. Baldwin, Annie. See if I can make us a date. And thanks very much, Mrs. Baldwin. Yeah, we'll be there at 6. Goodbye.
What? Did you get her, Casey?
Yeah, everything's all set for 6.
Oh, swell. What excuse did you give her?
Well, I said we wanted to come early so I could take shots of the final preparations for the ball. Incidentally, that letter's right about one important item, Annie. She is going to wear the diamond necklace tomorrow night.
You asked
Well,
her?
just offhandedly. I said I'd like to take some special pictures if she wore it, and she said she meant to.
If the letter's right about that, it's probably right about everything else.
We'll see, pal. Annie, I still can't figure out, though, why that letter was sent to you.
Can't you drive just a little faster, Casey? It's after 6, and we're
Can't help
late.
it, Annie. I can't help it. I can't see. If I try to do any speeding through this fog, we might wind up in a hospital.
Must be close to the water. Hear that foghorn?
Yeah. That's the one on McBurney's Point.
Oh. Why didn't we check the weather reports and find out we'd run into a pea soup fog, and then we could have started earlier and
Stop worrying, Annie. We're at the edge of the Baldwin estate right now.
Oh, that high wall
That's
there?
right, yeah. It completely surrounds the place. Some years ago, an attempt was made to kidnap Willis Baldwin, and a couple of guys are taking pot shots at him, so now he goes in for walls and armed guards.
Who took shots at him?
Oh, some guys he'd busted on the stock market. He plays rough down there, even under the SEC.
Hey, Casey, there's an armored car coming out that gate.
Yeah, that's right. That must have just delivered the diamonds.
Do we go in that gate?
Yep. After we stop and give the keeper our names. There he is.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. I'm Casey, Morning Express. This is Miss Williams. Here's my press card.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you.
Oh, he obviously is one of the armed
Oh,
guards.
yeah, there are a dozen or more in the place. Not counting Big Tim Blake, Baldwin's personal bodyguard.
This doesn't seem to me like a good place to try any robberies. I wish I could see something of the grounds, but the fog's so thick and black.
Yeah, a really slick crook may have done something you wish we had done, Annie. Checked weather warnings.
You mean a
This
crook?
fog would be a great help in getting away.
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's the house.
Well, it's a regular castle.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another guard.
Good evening.
Good evening, Miss Williams and Mr. Casey.
Yes, sir. I just got word from the gateman. May I take care of your car,
Yeah,
sir?
thanks. Come on, Annie.
The butler will announce you. He's coming now.
Yeah, I see.
Hey, Casey, I know that butler.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm sure I do, but I can't remember where I've seen.
Here he is.
You're the people from the Morning Express.
Yeah.
Follow me, please.
His voice is familiar, too, Casey, and he gave me a funny look. Did you notice?
Fleming? Is that Mr. Casey?
Yes, Mrs. Baldwin.
Well, I'm very glad to see you.
Mighty nice of you to let us barge in on you this early, Mrs. Baldwin.
Not at all. This, of course, is Miss Williams, the reporter you said you'd bring with you.
Yes.
How do you do, Mrs. Baldwin?
Nice to know you, my dear. Come into the library. We have something there that will interest both of you. Close the door, Fleming, and keep out that awful fog.
Yes, Mrs. Baldwin.
He's a new butler. Not very experienced. I have to remind him of everything.
Well, I've seen him somewhere.
What are we to see in your library, Mrs. Baldwin?
The necklace you want to photograph. It was brought here from the bank only a few minutes ago. My husband and a guest are standing guard over it.
It's altogether magnificent, Mr. Baldwin.
It should be, for what I paid for it, Count. Oh, Helen.
Miss Williams, may I present my husband?
How do you do, Miss Williams?
Mr. Baldwin.
And Le Comte de la Fere?
I believe this little newspaper lady and I have met before.
It's nice of you to remember me, Count de la Fere.
And this is Mr. Casey.
Oh, yeah, Casey.
Privileged to know you, monsieur.
Mr. Baldwin, Count.
My wife tells me you want to take some pictures of her necklace, Casey. It's over there on the table. I was just showing it to De La Fere. In case you'd like to stick it in your pocket,
Big Tim there won't let you.
Willis.
Oh, the man knows I'm only kidding, Helen?
Sure, Mr. Baldwin. How are you, Tim?
Hello, Casey. Oh, you two know each other?
Oh, yeah. Since long before Tim went into the bodyguard business.
Back in the days when I was a cop, boss.
You give Casey an okay, Tim?
He's okay.
Oh, then we let him get real close to the necklace, huh? Guess you'll want a good look at it, too, Miss Williams. Women usually do.
Oh, simply... I've never seen anything so gorgeous, Mrs. Baldwin.
It is nice, isn't it?
Mr. Baldwin tells me, and this necklace is the greatest number of perfectly matched first water diamonds set in any single example of the jeweler's art, Miss Williams.
Oh,
And it is worth. The amount is staggering.
Any man could live high, wide, and handsome for a lifetime on what this necklace is worth, Delafair.
So I imagine.
But he'd have to steal it or steal my wife, whom I gave it to, and neither of those things can be done while I'm around.
I'm sure it would be quite impossible.
Quite impossible.
Would you like to take your pictures now, Mr. Casey?
Yes, Mrs. Baldwin, thank you. I'm surprised there aren't detectives from your insurance company here to watch this necklace. They're usually around.
These diamonds are not insured.
What? Not insured?
Except for a few days each year, they're kept in the bank vault. And when Mrs. Baldwin wears them, as she will tonight, my own employees, like Tim here, keep them well protected.
I never take my eyes off them, boss.
Well, I'll shoot a picture of them lying here on the table.
No, go ahead. Now, where's that dumb new butler, Helen? 15 minutes ago, I told him to bring in cocktails.
Well, here he comes now, Willis.
Why did you take so long, Fleming?
I'm sorry, sir. Some matters came up that
All right, you're here at last. Bring that liquor wagon over here.
There's one picture.
Serve the cocktails, Fleming.
Yes, Mrs. Baldwin.
No, I don't like to drink in half darkness. Why have you got all the shades drawn, Helen?
Well, you know I always draw them when there's fog, Willis. It's so dreary to look outside.
Oh, then let's have something besides just a few table lamps on in here. Turn on the main lights, Fleming.
Yes, Mr. Baldwin.
I like to see the people I'm talking to.
What's that? What have you done to the lights?
I told you to turn more on, Fleming, not to switch them all off.
I haven't touched the switch, sir. I hadn't reached it. Now it's so dark I
Now
can't
get
find
some lights on in here. Tim.
Yeah? I found the switch, Willis. There.
Well, now that we can see again. What?
Mr. Baldwin.
The diamonds!
They are gone.
Tim!
I was standing right here beside him, boss, but I couldn't see him.
I know who took them.
Miss Williams.
Now I know who that butler is, Casey. He's the notorious jewel thief, Chris Masters.
You're not going to rap me for this.
Stop that bullet,
Tim! He's jumped through the window.
I'll get him.
Shoot! He's running away, disappearing in the fog.
He's out of sight. I can't see him anymore. I'm going after him, boss.
I'm coming with you, Tim. That man has the diamonds. Helen, give orders to close the gates and guard the wall.
I'll take care of it, Willis. Come with me, Raymond.
I'm with you, Mrs. Baldwin.
Well, everybody's gone and left us,
Well, come on, Casey. Let's get in on the chase.
Oh, well, there's no hurry.
No hurry.
No.
A man's out there with $1 million worth of stolen diamonds, and you
The guy you accused didn't get those diamonds.
Well, I tell you, I recognized him as Chris Masters. He switched off those lights.
Nobody switched off any lights. Look at the cord on his table lamp here.
Oh, it's been cut in two.
Yeah. Interesting, isn't it? Now I know why you got that anonymous letter, Annie.
What?
The fog seems to be lifting a little. Oh, well, let's go outside and join the manhunt. Huh?
Casey, will you tell me what you
When
mean
we
by...
get outside, Annie, in the fog. The fog that's lifting.
March 11th, 1948, Casey, crime photographer on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Can I just say I love soda in glass bottles? I really do. Much better than plastic and more recyclable. March 11th, 1948, Staats Cotsworth as Casey, crime photographer on this Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
State covers a lot of territory, Annie. I think Chris Masters will be fairly hard to find.
Casey, I want to know why you think he didn't take those diamonds.
Okay, Annie. But it's because he had no chance to take them.
Well,
The person who sent you that anonymous letter saw to that.
the person
Yeah,
who
that
sent-
letter bothered me. It just wasn't right. When we got here, I recognized Masters under his butler suit and his dyed hair and phony English accent a few minutes after I saw him.
You did?
Sure I did. Yes, and I was sure he recognized me and you. He wouldn't take a chance on lifting those diamonds with us in the house, Annie.
Go on.
Someone who was in that library a few minutes ago knew before tonight that Fleming, the butler, was really Masters, the jewel thief. And they figured, correctly, I imagine, that he was planning to steal the Baldwin necklace. Well, that someone decided to get it first, to let Masters take the blame. But this someone didn't want to be the person who pointed the finger at Masters, because that wouldn't look so good. So you were brought out here to make the accusation.
Mm-hmm. The article I wrote on Masters after my interview with him several years ago was featured under my byline.
That's right. By Ann Williams.
And that meant that I'd be sure to recognize Masters. Wait a minute. You said nobody switched off those lights?
Yeah, that's right. The fuse was blown.
The fuse was blown?
Yeah. The cord on that table lamp, Annie, had been cut with a scissors or knife, causing a short circuit. Mm-hmm. And when the lights went out, Masters was the one person in the room who I'm sure wasn't near the cord, because he's the one person I was watching. It's that cut lamp cord that makes me certain somebody besides Masters was after the diamonds.
Well, if the lights were short-circuited, how could Mrs. Baldwin turn them on?
Well, she switched on the main lights, Annie, the wall and the ceiling brackets. They're on a different circuit, apparently.
Oh, well, why did Chris Masters do a run-out the moment I told who he was? That seems to prove
Well, it only proves that whoever sent you that letter did another smart piece of figuring. Annie, didn't you mention in your story on Masters that as a jewel thief he lost his head, kind of, when things got hot, and he always did a run-out?
Mm-hmm. And if I hadn't accused Masters and he hadn't run, Mr. Baldwin would have called the police, and everyone in the room would have been searched.
Uh-huh. Now the thief has had a chance to get the diamonds off his person and into some hiding place somewhere.
Well, then the someone who planned all this is either
Count de la Fur, or whatever his name is, Big Tim Blake, or Mr. or Mrs. Baldwin.
Well, the Baldwins wouldn't steal their own diamonds,
Oh, wait a minute, Annie. People have been known to stage phony thefts of their own property.
Well, sure, to collect insurance, but Mr. Baldwin said the necklace wasn't insured.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think about Count de la Fere?
Well, $1 million worth of sparklers might be very attractive to a guy like him.
Baldwin seemed a little jealous of
Yeah, I
him.
caught that.
And you know the bodyguard, Tim Blake, so...
Well, I don't know Tim Blake well enough to eliminate him as a suspect.
He said he'd been a cop. Why did he leave the force?
For the good of the service, the commissioner figured Tim was too willing to use a gun. He shot up a couple of guys that maybe shouldn't have been shot up.
Well, be no way of finding out who really got the diamonds if he or she hasn't already hidden them.
Oh, he or she hasn't hidden them, Annie.
Well, a minute ago, you said that...
I said the thief has had the chance, but he didn't take it.
Well...
You see, the person who got those diamonds, Annie, wasn't the person who planned on getting them.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Annie, when the would-be thief reached for that necklace in the dark, he or she got a great big surprise. It wasn't there.
It wasn't there? Well, how do you know?
Because I'd reached first.
You?
Yeah. Meet Raffles Casey, the $1 million bandit.
Oh, well, what have you done with the necklace?
It's in my pocket.
In your pocket?
Sure.
Oh, Casey.
And everybody but you and me, including the would-be thief, is sure that it's in Chris Masters' pocket.
Oh.
Annie, it won't surprise me if the smart would-be thief does something very foolish very soon. Fog is almost gone, Annie.
Mm-hmm.
You can see pretty well now.
Yeah? Casey, all our suspects seem to be looking for Masters individually. During the past 15 minutes, we've seen the Count, Big Tim, and Baldwin, each of them alone.
We haven't seen Mrs. Baldwin. That means she's alone, too.
Oh, Casey, you're taking an awful chance with those diamonds in your pocket. If they were found on you, no one would believe
Yeah,
that
they'd
you
think
didn't...
the worst, all right, wouldn't they, huh? But, Annie, this is the first time I've ever had $1 million worth of anything in my pocket, and it kind of makes me feel... No, I don't know. It's funny. I don't feel any different than when I was honest and...
Hey, Casey.
Gunshot.
Yeah, over there.
Come on, Annie.
Okay.
Boss, I think I got him.
That's Big Tim's voice.
Yeah, I did get him, boss. Come here.
There he is, beside those trees right there.
You got Masters, Tim?
Yeah, the thief. Oh, it's you, Casey. Hey, boss, where's Mr. Baldwin?
I'm coming, Tim. You guys stick to your post. Don't block over here.
Masters is lying behind those evergreens.
Now, let's have a look.
Hey, you shot Masters, Tim?
Yes, Mr. Baldwin. I heard a movement amongst those trees, and then I saw a moving figure. It kept on moving after I told it to stop, so I blazed away.
Hey, you're shooting. What has happened?
Tim here just shot our thief, Count.
That butler, Fleming.
Did you search this guy before you started shooting, Tim?
What chance would I have to search him, Casey? I just
someone
told
has searched him. Take a look at your ex-butler, Mr. Baldwin.
Yeah, I see.
His clothes are all torn.
Yeah, all his pockets that aren't torn inside out are ripped open.
Well, I didn't search him.
You didn't shoot him either, Tim.
I didn't shoot him.
No. I can't find any bullet holes in him.
I see none.
This guy was strangled to death.
Who did it?
Maybe the moving figure you saw was the someone who did it, Tim. You fired at it from a distance and then found this fella lying here and concluded your bullets had shot him.
Yeah, that must have been what happened.
Who did kill that man?
Count de la Fere, I have a kind of a half idea.
You have, Casey?
Yes, Mr. Baldwin.
I have more than a half idea. I just found something near Master's body that...
What'd you find, boss?
Let us see.
I found something that tells me the strangler was you, Count.
Let me go.
Count de la Fere?
You're crazy, Mr. Baldwin. Help me, this man. Let me go.
Oh, break it up, Baldwin. You got him down. Now break it up.
All right. But don't let that fella get away, Tim.
I won't, boss.
Here's what I found beside Master's hand, Casey. This black coat button. Then I saw there was a button missing from De La Fere's dinner jacket.
And the conclusion of Casey Crime Photographer follows these messages from your favorite radio station, March 11th, 1948. I'm Wyatt Cox, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite station. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Casey Crime Photographer starring Staats Cotsworth, March 11th, 1948, Fog.
Look, this button I found matches the others on his coat.
You lie! That button you pulled from my coat now when you take me.
A jury won't see it that way when you're tried for Master's murder.
This man is mad.
Take it easy, Count. Take it easy. Why should De La Fere be tried for murder, Mr. Baldwin?
Because he killed Masters.
This dead guy was a fugitive suspected of stealing your wife's necklace. If Tim had shot him, as we thought at first, you wouldn't have called Tim a murderer.
If I had choked that thief, I would be a fool to deny it, and I'm not a fool. But I was never near the man.
You deny it because of the search you made of Master's clothes. You wanted the diamonds he stole.
Search me, somebody. I have no diamonds.
You've had time to hide him someplace. Take him to the police, Tim.
Wait a minute.
You're butting into this too much,
I don't
Casey.
think so, Mr. Baldwin. On the evidence of that button, you're formally accusing Count de la Fere
of killing this thief, Chris Masters, in order to hijack the stolen diamonds.
Oh, now it's Chris Masters, huh?
Huh?
When Miss Williams recognized your phony butler tonight, she mentioned his real name only once and very rapidly. You knew who your butler really was before tonight.
That's crazy. You can't prove that.
Maybe I can. Tim was a good shot. When he fired at the moving figure, he didn't miss completely. He put a hole through your coat sleeve.
Hole?
Yeah, look. Here, right here.
Let me go, Tim.
Now, Casey, hold everything, Tim. Take a look at this.
Yeah, it looks like a bullet hole.
It is a bullet hole. This man tried to accuse me of what he himself has done.
You murdered Chris Masters to hijack property of your wife's that you'd meant to steal.
I'll try to prove that. You just try. Let me go.
Okay. Baldwin, you've attempted a theft tonight. You killed a man. You've tried to frame the Count. When a guy like that can't be brought to book in one way, sometimes he can in another. Tim, as an ex-cop, wouldn't you say your boss was guilty if you found the stolen necklace on him?
Well, yeah.
It's your duty to see if he has it, Tim. All right, I'll hold him again.
I haven't those diamonds, you fool. Take them.
Go through his pockets, Tim. He's giving me quite a battle here. He's afraid to have you search him.
This'll cost me my job, Casey.
It's your duty.
Okay, I'll do it, but... Casey.
The diamond necklace.
There you are. You did find it on him, Tim.
Oh, Casey.
This is a frame-up. A frame-up.
You and the Count take care of him, Tim.
Come on, Baldwin. I'm working for the law again.
I will help you take good care of him, Tim, after what he tried to do to me.
This is a frame-up. This is a frame-up.
Well, Annie, let's go along. I'm going to get some pictures now.
Casey, you slipped that necklace in his pocket while you were struggling with him.
Yes, Annie. Just like he pulled a button off of De La Fere's coat. You know, Annie, when you can't trap a crook in any other way, one good frame deserves another.
Well, Baldwin confessed after the cops went to work on him, huh, Casey?
Yeah, good thing, too, Ethelbert. Naturally, I couldn't have stuck to my frame-up in court.
Baldwin needed money to pull himself out of a deep hole he got into in the stock market. That big estate, in fact, everything he had was mortgaged to the rafters. Only his wife's necklace was free and clear. He preferred to steal it rather than ask her for it.
Yeah. Because he was pretty sure she wouldn't have given it to him.
Why did he try to frame that Count, whatever his name is?
Well, first to cover himself, of course, and then second because he thought his wife was in love with a guy.
Baldwin had a big nerve to be jealous after some of the things he'd been doing.
What things?
Mostly blondes.
Yeah? Blondes?
Oh. The cops have been digging into his private life.
And found blondes, huh? Wow. Tell me more.
Well, there was a little chick named Doris.
Oh, darn, there's the bar phone. I'll be right back. Blue Note Cafe, Ethelbert speaking.
Wow.
Huh? You'll have to speak louder. I can't understand you. Huh? What?
Casey?
What's his name?
The fog is entirely gone.
Are you in the same room with the
When we
phone?
came in here, I noticed the stars were up.
Yeah, I noticed that too,
Louder,
Annie.
please. I can't
Spring was kind of in the air, too.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a nice night to be outside.
Yeah, it is. It's a swell night to be outside.
Oh, no. No, I can't.
Well, what are we doing here?
You know, we'd be crazy if we stayed here, Annie.
Oh, no.
Come on, Annie, let's go.
We're going, Casey.
Oh, mister, you got the wrong number. Tell me about them blonde. Walter, where did Casey and Miss Williams go? Out. Out? Out? Oh, well, of all the... Walter, bring up some more lemons.
Crime Photographer, starring Staats Cotsworth as Casey, is written by Alonzo Dean Cole. It is brought to you each Thursday by the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation, makers of Fire King oven glass, Anchor glass containers, Anchor caps and closures. All products of Anchor Hocking, the most famous name in glass. Photographer is directed by John Dietz and is based on the fictional character of Flash Gun Casey, created by George Harmon Cox. Original music is by Archie Blyer, and the program features Miss Jan Miner as Anne and John Gibson as Ethelbert. Herman Chittison is the Blue Note pianist. The Girl Scouts are celebrating their 36th birthday this week. Your time and interest is the best birthday present they could get. If you can spare just a few hours a week, offer your services by calling your local Girl Scout office.
I like my peanut butter patties or my peanut butter sandwich cookies. Those are good. And the thanks a lot. That works good, too. Casey, Crime Photographer, March 11th, 1948, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Just when you thought it couldn't get any better, Mike Lindell and MyPillow launching the MyPillow 2.0. Now, when Mike invented MyPillow, it had everything you could want in a pillow. Now, nearly 20 years later, he's discovered a new technology that makes MyPillow even better. Of course, the patented adjustable fill of the original MyPillow, but now with brand new fabric with a temperature-regulating thread, it's the softest, smoothest, and coolest pillow you'll ever own. Say goodbye to tossing and turning and flipping your pillow over in the middle of the night. And more great news on the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer with my promo code Wyatt. MyPillow 2.0 is 100% made in the USA, 10-year warranty, 60-day money-back guarantee. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio podcast square to receive the MyPillow 2.0 buy one, get one free offer. Use my promo code Wyatt or call 1-800-928-4715. Now, while I'm waiting on my Girl Scout cookies, we head down to Pine Ridge, Arkansas. I know there's some good food down there. And visit with Lum and Abner. This episode from March 11th, 1953, Lum has a big issue dealing with the Widder Abernathy. And we'll hear about that here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. First, answer the phone.
Granny's, Abner. I believe that's our ring.
I don't get Lum. I believe you're right.
Now, see. Hello, Jot 'em Down store. This is Lum and Abner.
And now let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge.
Hello there, folks. This is Dick Huddleston. Well, I guess I don't have to tell you that old Lum is on the verge of tearing his hair after what happened on their Pine Ridge Princess program yesterday. The Widder Abernathy was chosen as princess, and when she was asked what she wanted as a grand prize, she said she wanted Lum Eddard for a husband. And according to the rules, that's what she's supposed to get. Well, in spite of this, Lum's over at the Jot 'em Down store carrying on with their broadcasting.
And now, Station VPR brings you a time signal through the courtesy of the Ezra C. Strunk Feed Store.
Do your chickens look like addictants? Do they look like barnyard trash? Go right down to Ezra C. Strunk's, get a sack of pullet mash. Give me a package of Ezra C. Strunk's pullet mash, please.
And now for the time. When you hear the gong, the time will be exactly, Grandpap, move your head. I can't see the clock.
Don't rush me. Dog, is that clock stopped, Lum?
Well, hurry up. What time does your watch say?
Oh, well, you can't go by that. Mine's 10 minutes fast.
Well, when you hear the gong, the time will be around, say, 9 o'clock. It's exactly 9, 2 1/2. This watch of mine ain't been wrong in 40 years, not once.
Hush up, Grandpap. Lum's trying to give a time signal.
This is Station VPR signing off till 10:30 this morning, at which time you will hear the Dad Crockett Pastime Pool Hall program featuring the two Macmillan boys and mother in Snooker Time Melodies, followed by Lum Eddard's Tells All at 11 o'clock, and at 11:02, the Mose Moots Pine Ridge Princess program. See you then, folks. Turn off the switch, Al.
I'm doing it. Dog, as long as you forgot to grin when you was announcing there today.
You'd forget to grin, too, if you was faced with what I am.
Are you still worried about the Widder Abernathy thinking she's going to marry you?
Well, that's something to worry about, Granny.
Well, she can't hold you to that, can she?
I don't know why not. She was chose princess on the Mose Moot show yesterday, and when we told her she could have anything she wanted, it was me.
Yeah, I know. But is that legal?
As near as I can figure out, it is.
Uh-oh.
I went through my law books from cover to cover, and I can't find no way to get out of it.
Well,
I guess I'll be trotting along. Might be a telegram deliver for me to make. Ain't had one for about 3 months now. It's about time, I reckon.
Oh, sure, Grandpap. But try to be back by 10:30. We're going to need you.
It all depends on if I'm busy with a telegram deliver. Don't feel like giving up a steady job for radio acting. I don't believe there's much of a future in it.
Yeah, well, try and get back, Grandpap.
Yeah. Grandpap sure takes that telegram deliver business serious, don't he? Well, I don't know what I'm laughing at. I'm the most miserable man in the whole world.
Well, Lum, I don't think that she...
Oh, my goodness, let me hide, Abner.
Hide?
Yeah, look who's coming there. The Widder Abernathy. Don't tell her I'm here.
Yeah, well, hey, wait a minute. She ain't coming in here, Lum. Look there, she's heading over to Dick Huddleston. See there?
No, I don't want to look. Getting to where I can't stand the sight of that woman.
Well, if you feel that way now, how you going to feel after you've been married 10 or 15 years?
Abner, don't say such things.
You said yourself you couldn't figure no way out of it.
Well, I'm going to get out of it even if there ain't no way. I'll suicide myself first.
Oh, I wouldn't do that. That's liable to kill you.
Well, couldn't be worse than what I went through last night.
Oh, fiddle.
If she called me up once, she called me up 50 times. Asked me if I wanted to get married in the church or the courthouse, if I wanted her to wear pink or yeller.
Pink or yeller what?
Wedding dress and hat and all that junk.
Oh, well, I'd say yeller match her eyes better. Of course, if they're going by her nose, I'd choose pink.
Well, I ain't choosing no color. You know what I resent about this more than anything else is that she acts like I'm something she won on a punch board.
Yeah. Well, come to think of it, it is sort of like she got you out of an iron claw machine. Only difference is she never got a handful of peanuts. She might have got cheated, I don't know.
I don't care how she won me, I just ain't going through with it. That's all there are to it. Abner, can't you think of some way to help me?
Well, let's see. Oh, there she comes again.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, wait a minute. She stopped. She's talking to somebody. Cedric, I believe. Yeah, that's who it is, Cedric.
More than likely telling him all about her wedding. Grannies, I wish it was him she's marrying instead of me.
Why, Lum Eddard, that's the meanest thing I ever heard you say.
Yeah, it is, ain't it? I'm just frantic, so I don't know what I'm saying. Cedric's a good friend of mine.
Why, of course he is. He's way yonder too young for the Widder anyway. Besides, I wouldn't want to wish her off on nobody. Not even a varmint like Charlie Redfield.
Charlie, granny, wait a minute, Abner. That might not be a bad idea.
Huh?
Charlie Redfield. He's the town's most legible widower. Yes, sir, them two might make a nice couple.
Now, just a minute, Lum. Just what you got in mind?
Well, Abner, we may as well face the facts. The only way I'm ever going to get out of this thing is to have her fall in love with somebody else and give me up. Ain't that right?
Well, yeah.
And if she falls in love with Charlie, why, he can get out of it because he ain't legal bound to marry her like I am.
Yeah, but what makes you think she's going to fall in love with Charlie?
Well, that's where we come in.
Huh?
We'll start working on Charlie. Brag on the widder. What a wonderful woman she is. What a wonderful cook. That ought to appeal to Charlie the way he likes to eat.
Yeah, he's a eater, all right.
And then if we can get him to show just a little bit of interest in the widder, why, that'll do it. There's one woman that don't need much encouragement.
Yeah, but she thinks she's already got you, Lum. I don't believe she'll take a chance on giving up a sure thing.
Well, what we've got to do there is convince her that she'd be better off married to Charlie than to me.
Yeah. Charlie wouldn't be better off, though.
Well, I said he can get out of it, though, before it's too late. And I can't. I'm stuck.
Yeah. Well, now, as far as I can see, there's only two things wrong with that little plan.
What do you mean?
Well, for one thing, Charlie's going to see right away you're just trying to shove the widder off on him.
Yeah, I'm feared he would at that.
And the widder's going to figure the same thing. She'll know just sure as the word you're trying to get shut up.
Yeah, well, it was a happy thought for a minute there, anyways. Or now, wait a minute. It might still work.
Lum, you might as well drop the whole idea right now.
Well, now, wait. If I can convince Charlie that I don't want to give the widder up, he might go along with it. Folks always want something that somebody else wants, you know.
Yeah, but what about the widder?
Well, we'll have to convince her of the same thing. Make her think I'm crazy about her, but Charlie's even crazier.
He'd have to be.
I'll start working on Charlie, and you start on the widder.
Well, now, wait a minute, Lum. I don't think I'd be very convincing. She'd know right away I was up to something. Better get somebody else, like, let's see, who could we get?
Oh, howdy, Mr. Lum. Howdy, Mr. Abner.
Oh, hello, Cedric. Maybe you could get Grandpa. No, he'd get it all mixed
Say,
up.
Mr. Lum, I was just across the street talking to the Widder Abernathy.
Yeah, we seen you, Cedric. Hey, I know, Lum. Get Squire Skimp to work on her. He can convince anybody of anything.
Yeah, but I'd wind up owing him a whole lot of money for it somewhere or other.
Yeah, that's true.
The Widder asked me to tell you something about the wedding.
That's all she's been doing for the last 24 hours, trying to tell Lum something about the wedding.
Yeah, I'd rather not hear it if you don't mind, Cedric.
Say, Lum, Cedric could be a good one to hint around to the widder about you and Charlie and all that stuff.
She said it was awful important for me to tell you about the wedding, Mr. Lum.
Hush up, Cedric. We're trying to figure out something here. What do you think, Lum?
Yeah, might work. Cedric, do you still go over and play with that oldest Abernathy boy? Oh, sometimes. Him and me go squirrel hunting together once in a while. Uh-huh. Well, next time you're over there, you might get to telling the widder how much I'm looking forward to our wedding. You are?
Oh, he can't hardly wait.
And you might also mention that you heard that Charlie Redfield was kind of jealous because he sort of had his cap set for himself. Well, I'll be doggone, I never knowed that.
Well, we never did neither till just now.
Well, what do you know about that? Charlie Redfield.
Yeah. It's kind of comical when you stop to think about it.
Well, say, Mr. Lum, that ought to be good news for you, then. You can let Charlie have her. You were saying yesterday how you'd suicide yourself before you'd marry up with the widder.
Oh, well, that's all changed now, Cedric. Lum's crazy about the widder.
He is?
Oh, yeah. Didn't you hear him say he's looking forward to the wedding?
Yeah, that's right. I did hear that. I don't get it. You don't have to, Cedric. All I want you to do is just get that idea across to the widder.
And don't say we put you up to it, though.
Well, when did you change your mind and swing over this way, Mr. Lum? I know yesterday you couldn't hardly stand to think about her even. Oh, you must have been mistook, Cedric. I've always had a high regards for that lovely little woman.
Oh, my, yes.
And for that wonderful little family of hers, too, them darling young'uns. Now, there's 9 of the preciousest little angels you'd ever want to meet.
Now, Lum, let's keep this down to where a body can believe it.
Yeah, I reckon I am overdoing it a little there.
Boy, watch it, kid. You overdone it.
Yes, sir, she's a fine woman. And the only reason I'd give her up is if I thought she'd be happier with somebody else. Like, say, for instance, Charlie Redfield. who is crazy about her.
Cedric, do you think you get the idea now?
Yes, Mom. I had no idea things was like this, so sure surprises me.
Well, that's how they is, Cedric.
Yeah, and so now next time you're talking to the widder, you can sort of get these ideas across to her. Well, heck, I could fix this whole thing up right now if you want me to. Can you sure enough, Cedric? Yes, Mom, if you'd just let me use your phone here.
Well, go right ahead. Doggers, get on it right now.
Yes, Mom.
Now all you have to do is swing Charlie over to the ID Lum, which ain't going to be easy. I'd hate to have the job, I'll tell you that. Believe it's going to take more than her cooking to sell him. Too bad she ain't rich.
Hello, Miss Abernathy. This is Cedric Wehunt. You recollect me? I was talking to you a while ago.
Get on with it, Cedric.
Well, Miss Abernathy, I just found out you was wrong, and it'd just break Mr. Lum's heart if you went through with your plan.
Never mind her plan, Cedric. Tell her about Charlie and all.
Yes, Mom, he's just crazy about you. He said so himself. Get to the part about Charlie, Cedric. Yes, Mom. Well, that's all right. I'm proud to do it. Goodbye. Oh, there. It's all taken care of now. Wait a minute. What do you mean it's all taken care of? Well, she sent me in here a while ago to tell you the wedding was off because she thought you didn't like her.
Huh?
But now she knows you're crazy about her. She's going to go through with it.
The best laid plans of mice, men, and Lum. Once again, Lum and Abner, March 11th, 1953, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Ted at RadioMemories.com supplies us all these shows fully restored to the best possible quality. Cassette, CD, or flash drive for your computer, he can do it for you too. RadioMemories.com. That's RadioMemories.com. Visit our webpage, classicradio.stream. Stream our shows, learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me, find our social media links, and if you'd like to support our program, you can buy me a coffee. That buy me a coffee money goes toward building additional classic radio collections for our program here, and also helps us maintain our distribution channels, because I don't drink coffee. Buy me a coffee at classicradio.stream. Thank this station, support their advertisers, tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.